yesterday. This was when she informed the House that on May 12th, 2025, 1 Acre Fund, OAF, donated 2,000 Musungu trees in support of Madam Speaker's Plant a Tree Challenge initiative. She stated that in order to promote the initiative in all constituencies, it had been decided that the trees be distributed amongst all members of Parliament and selected staff. Madam First Deputy Speaker stated that each member of Parliament would receive at least 10 trees to be planted within their respective constituencies in order to promote environmental sustainability in local communities. And Madam First Deputy Speaker informed the House that members of Parliament and selected staff were requested to visit the National Assembly Engineering Department to collect the allocated number of trees by Friday, 1st August 2025.
And following those announcements, there were 3 urgent matters without notice. And the first one came from Mr. Kafwaya on the subject matter on the need for government to assure the people of Zambia that it did not doubt the death of the former president, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, and this was inadmissible.
Mr. Kapyanga also raised a matter yesterday, and his subject matter was on the alleged concern by the people of Zambia as to why the government has continued to pursue the family of the late former president, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, on the issue of his death and whether the matter presented any economic value to the country. So this matter was inadmissible. And
Mr. David Chisopa, the deed wanted to find out on why government issued a mining license to one investor in Chingola district, thereby disadvantaging many young people who were unemployed, and thus leading to the riots and looting of shops in the district. This was also inadmissible.
After those urgent matters without notice were raised, the House then moved on to consider a question for oral answer under Standing Order number 80, and this was question 396. After that, there were 2 motions that were moved on the floor of the House yesterday. The first one was moved by Mr. Ntinta, who's a Teji member of Parliament. He moved a motion to adopt the report of the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs, that the House adopts the report of the Committee on Local Governance, Housing, Chiefs Affairs on the report of the Auditor General on the utilization of the Road Fund for Road Maintenance in Zambia 2020 to 2022 for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on 25th July 2025, and the House resolved to adopt this particular report.
And another motion was moved by Chasefu Member of Parliament, Mr. Nyambose, in which he urged the House to adopt the report of the local government accounts on the report of the Auditor General on the audit of accounts of local government authorities for the financial year ended 31st December 2023 for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday 29th July 2025, and this report was also adopted.
Okay. After that, the House then moved on to consider the Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2025. So yesterday, a motion was made and a question proposed that the bill be read the second time, and the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, standing in her place, sought leave of the House to defer the bill for further consideration to a later date. So the question that the bill be deferred was put and agreed to.
And the House also considered the Superior Court's number of judges bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2025, and this was considered in committee, and of course it went through committee stage without any amendments. The 3rd reading is expected to be taken today.
After that, the Border Management and Trade Facilitation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, was read a 3rd time and passed. And then the House at about 17:55 hours adjourned. So that in a nutshell is the business that took place on the floor of the House yesterday. So for those who may not have followed deliberations yesterday, I hope you have a picture of what happened on the floor of the House yesterday. So we quickly turn our attention to business that is expected to be considered on the floor of the House. Pauline.
Yes, Muta, on the order paper for today, we have some announcements, if there will be any, and then Her Honor the Vice President is expected to move a motion to suspend the Standing Orders 2022 of 2024 in order to enable the House to sit until business on the order paper is completed tomorrow, Friday, 1st August 2025, and thereafter the House adjourns Senate year.
After that, we have urgent matters without notice, and then a ministerial statement and some more business.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
And sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our right. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who learn. Let us all have people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Amen. Order. Honorable members, I have one announcement to make. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from the following schools: Al Fakan Islamic School in Lusaka District, Mazabuka Girls School in Mazabuka District, and Kizito Community School in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. You may take your seats. I thank you. Motion, the acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that Standing Order 27-2 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders of 2024, be suspended to enable the House to sit until business on the order paper is completed on Friday, 1st of August 2025, and thereafter adjourn sine die.
The question is that Standing Order number 27-2 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders for 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit until business on the order paper is completed on Friday, 1st August 2025, and thereafter adjourn sine die. Any debate? The acting leader of government business.
Madam Speaker, Standing Order 27-2 provides that on Friday, the House shall adjourn at 13 hours. The motion therefore seeks to suspend the standing orders to enable the House to sit until all business on the order paper on Friday, 1st of August 2025 is completed, and thereafter adjourn sine die. Madam Speaker, by the time of adjournment, the House would have sat for a total of 31 days and would have considered 108 questions, 31 motions to adopt reports of parliamentary committees, 3 motions to adopt reports on parliamentary delegations to international conferences, and 3 motions to adopt reports on the ratification of international treaties. Further, Madam Speaker, the House would have passed 8 bills and considered 14 ministerial statements explaining and clarifying government policies on various issues. In addition, 13 annual reports from government and quasi-government departments and 1 action taken report would have been tabled. Madam Speaker, it is clear from these statistics that the House has transacted a fairly large amount of business. This is attributed to the commitment, dedication, and hard work of all honorable members of this august House. I therefore wish to commend all honorable members for the job well done. Job well done. Good. In view of the foregoing, Madam, it is necessary that the House takes a break to enable honorable members attend to other duties outside the House. Having said that, allow me to thank the Honorable Madam Speaker, yourself, Madam First Deputy Speaker, and the Honorable Mr. Second Deputy Speaker for the able and impartial manner in which you presided over the business of the House. I also wish to extend my sincere gratitude to the staff in the Office of the Clerk, the Office of the Vice President, Parliamentary Business Division, and officers from various government ministries and departments for the services rendered that ensured that the meeting was a success. I urge them all to continue with the spirit of hard work. As we prepare to adjourn and head back to our constituencies, I urge each and every one of the members to carry their spirit, the spirit of this House, with them. Let us remain committed to the welfare of our people and continue to work tirelessly to address their concerns. Madam Speaker, I want to urge honorable members to take time during the recess to visit their constituencies and assess how the harvesting of various crops is going, and encourage our people not to sell everything they have harvested, but ensure food security at household level before selling the surplus produce. Madam Speaker, last year we experienced the most devastating drought in living memory, which affected crop production. However, this year, God gave us good rains, and the hardworking farming community planted various crops on a large scale, resulting in unprecedented bumper harvest. It is therefore important that we all secure and preserve the harvest in order to forestall hunger, especially at household level. With regard to selling of maize, our farmers should not sell at a price lower than what the government is offering through Food Reserve Agency. The farmers should not sell lower than what is being offered by FRA. Our hardworking farmers should not be enticed by briefcase buyers who offer very low prices, but be patient to get a good return on their investment in the land. Similarly, members should check on developmental projects going on in their constituencies, and where there are challenges, approach relevant authorities for solutions. As the rainy season is only a few months away, it is important for members to encourage our people to start preparations for planting the next crop early. Madam Speaker, this is a procedural and non-controversial motion. Therefore, I urge all honorable members to support it. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Luena.
Madam Speaker, this was for urgent matters without notice.
Pardon?
Ratification was for urgent matters without notice.
The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
I'm representing Kapianga. Madam Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to comment on the motion that has been brought on the floor of the House. Indeed, I would like to join government in recognizing the hard work that has been put by members of Parliament, especially from your left, Madam Speaker. I think that quite a good amount of work has been done on the floor of the House. The reports that the government referred to have been a clear indication that government has got a lot of work to do, particularly those that came through audited accounts. Again, the interactions we have had, Madam Speaker, have also clearly shown the efforts that government is making in ensuring that our economy is turned around, but also at the same time, as we go back, the government has emphasized on the issue of maize. We want to also see that those who are going to supply the maize are paid on time, so that what you are worried about as government, that our people should not get maize prices that are lower, they will only get encouraged if they see their colleagues being paid on time. So that is a challenge that we're giving to government. Madam Speaker, we also learned that the levels of illicit flows of funds have continued to increase. Again, that should be something that government should aggressively work on. It's got an opportunity as we look forward to opening the House in September through the State of Nation address as well as through the national budget. So as we go back, we are going back as happy members of Parliament because we have put government into account. On several occasions, the opposition was even reminding government about procedure. on a bill. Are you not happy? You are not
The
happy?
honorable member for
Madam Speaker,
Katanshi, please address me.
Madam Speaker, I was just emphasizing because maybe they have forgotten. But I think I, for one, Madam Speaker, I believe we have put government to account, and there is a lot of work that has been done in the last 31 days, and we should be proud. It's because there is a hard working. I do not agree sometimes when government says the opposition is disorganized. I think the efforts that have been coming from this side have been able to put government on its toes, and together we'll be able to succeed as a country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, this is a non-controversial motion. We are supposed to adjourn tomorrow. So the acting leader of government business, please wind up debate.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I would like, obviously, to thank and acknowledge the short debate that has been offered here on the floor of this Parliament today by the Member of Parliament for Katashi. I want to assure you, Honourable Member, that this government will endeavour to pay the farmers on time. You can be assured of that. And I'm happy that you are a happy Member of Parliament as you go back. And please come back a happy Member of Parliament in September. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I'm very grateful to the House for supporting this non-controversial motion. I thank you.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that standing orders number 27, 2 of the National Assembly of Zambia standing orders for 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit until business on the order paper is completed on Friday, 1st August 2025, and thereafter adjourned sine die. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. We move to the next segment. Urgent matters, although we are adjourning tomorrow. The Honourable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to rise on an urgent matter without notice. Madam Speaker, I am sure I'm not mistaken if I say it's the first time I'm rising on an urgent matter without notice, and doing so because it's a matter that's very, very compelling. Madam Speaker, yesterday I came across a video on the internet which is circulating. The video is titled Chinese Investments in Zambia, and the video, Madam Speaker, is purporting to have been produced by a publication that's a national publication, news media house in this country, that I won't mention because they are not in the house to defend themselves. But nonetheless, I'm bringing this matter for the attention of the leader of the government business in the House. Madam Speaker, that documentary is full of insinuations about corruption that is supposedly going on between government officials and investors in this country. In particular, it was focusing on Chinese investors in the country. The video, Madam Speaker, was seeking to draw a wedge by painting the investors who have brought much needed investment in this country as being not worthwhile investors, accusing them of all sorts of things without any evidence beyond the insinuations. Madam Speaker,
The
Wow, this
Honorable Member
government.
for Kalulushi. Please don't debate while seated.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, while this government is working so hard to attract foreign direct investment in this country for the benefit of the people of this nation, there are people that are seeking to sow disunity and paint one set of investors as being undesirable investors in this country. Madam Speaker, I therefore wish to
Order,
seek
Honorable Member for Chilubi. Give him chance.
Madam
You
Speaker,
can
in
wind up,
conclusion,
your time is up.
I wish to ask, Madam Speaker, whether the government is in order to keep quiet in the face of such malicious and untruthful productions being circulated on the international media. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. So, like I mentioned, honorable members, tomorrow we are adjourning. Even if we were to ask the minister to come up with a ministerial statement, he needs time. So, is it possible that the honorable member for Luena maybe approaches the minister and makes some arrangement? Maybe the minister can give a brief somewhere. All these orders of, are these matters without notice? The list I'm seeing here. What is happening? We are adjourning tomorrow. No one is going to attend to these matters. The honorable member for Chairman North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, my matter without notice is directed to the Minister of Agriculture. Madam Speaker, the increasing number of suicide cases in Eastern Province is extremely worrying and of grave concerns. Madam Speaker, yesterday the police command in Eastern Province issued a statement in which they stated that the province has recorded 68 suicide cases from January to 24th July this year. And it is feared that the numbers may be much higher, especially those cases which are not reported. Madam Speaker, in Chama, for example, every week or fortnight, we are recording cases of suicide. And these cases are attributed to people consuming grain herbicides, aluminium phosphide tablets, which are used to preserve the maize. Madam Speaker, anyone can just go in an agro shop and buy these tablets, and then they are consuming. I think there's need to regulate how these tablets are being sold openly to avoid continual loss of lives. So I seek your serious indulgence in this matter, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
The honorable member for Chama North, you have clearly indicated that this problem of this matter started a long time. It has been happening. So it's not a new matter that happened in the last 24 hours. However, honorable members, just like I guided the other honorable member who has raised a matter, kindly approach the minister so that as you go back to your constituency, you can carry some good news for your people. Go and have a discussion with the Minister of Agriculture. Or if our honor, the Vice President will be in the House tomorrow, you can also take that opportunity to raise a question during our honor, the Vice President's question time. The honorable member for Mitete.
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker, like you've just heard. But tomorrow we are adjourning. Out there's an agency. I know, Madam Speaker, you would have ruled on it. But they will be asked of Madam Speaker, the funeral. What are we going to say? Even our colleagues here, those who traveled, they've not seen the remains of our sixth president. To date, tomorrow we are adjourning. What are we going to tell the people there? They are asking. And there they are saying Freemason, Freemason, which is not the case. The entire world, such a thing has never happened. It is shocking and people are expectant. Madam Speaker, it is as urgent as now. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mitete, please, if Your Honor the Vice President will be in the House tomorrow, take that opportunity to raise a question. Otherwise, you can visit Her Honor the Vice President's question time and have a discussion with her. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. After.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order, order.
Madam Speaker, I wish to start by thanking you most sincerely for giving me this honor and privilege to present the policy statement on whether the government is aware that about 10,000 people are likely to be evicted from the 402,000 hectares of land, which is traditional land, in Mulobezi Ward, in Mulobezi constituency, by a foreign investor trading in timber, and whether the people will be compensated once they are evicted. In addition, whether the consent was obtained from the Barozi Royal Establishment before the title deed was issued to the investor, and if not, whether the government will cancel the title deed. The policy statement will also address whether there is land available to resettle the people who may be evicted from the said land, and what will happen to the infrastructure in the area, such as government schools, hospitals, police posts, railway line, market, and churches. Madam Speaker, government is aware of the concerns raised by both the settlers Government is aware of the concerns raised by both the settlers of Mulobezi regarding their land rights and livelihoods. And also government is aware on the investor concerning their legitimate business operations. This situation therefore requires a balanced approach that upholds the law, protects the rights of all parties, and promotes sustainable economic development. Madam Speaker, a review of the lands register at the Ministry of Lands revealed that in 1931, there was an agreement involving three parties, namely His Majesty the King George V, represented by the Colonial Office, His Royal Highness Paramount Chief Yeta III, and Zambia. The nature of that agreement are not specified. On 23rd November 1932, the three parties, namely His Majesty the British South African Company and the Paramount Chief Yeta III, agreed, and Machili was declared a forest area. This is the area now, today known as Farm 946. It now became a protected area. On the 29th of October 1942, His Majesty, the Paramount Chief Yeta III and Zambezi Sawmills made an agreement, and a license was issued to do certain things. A license was issued to do certain things. The agreement does not specify what was meant by certain things. Madam Speaker, according to the records at the Ministry of Lands, in June of 1931, Subdivision A of Farm number 946 was first surveyed, which has an area size of 4,072.7 hectares, contrary to the reported hectares of 402,000. The remaining part of Farm 946, after this subdivision was created, has protected forest areas now called Naluama, Luangula, Situmbo, and Lonze. Madam Speaker, during the period 1931 to 1968, Zambezi Sawmills operated on a lease entity since its establishment until the year January 1999, when a certificate of title was issued. Madam Speaker, the ministry established that Zambezi Sawmill was placed on receivership by the Atlas Mara Bank, which was owed about 14 million kwacha. However, the new investor bought the subdivision A of Farm 946 from the bank, which was previously owned by Zambezi Sawmills of 1968 Limited in liquidation at only 2 million kwacha. Madam Speaker, we were informed by the receiver of Zambezi Sawmills that prior to the investor purchasing the said farm of subdivision A of farm number 46 at only 2 million kwacha in 2024 last year, which he had bought as it was then with all its encumbrances. The receiver approached the area member of parliament of Mulobezi on 2 different occasions and proposed that the area MP could facilitate through CDF and buy the same subdivision A farm of 946, since the bank was agreeable to forgo the price difference of about 12 million kwacha. Unfortunately, the MP never took it up until the new investor bought the said farm at 2 million. Madam Speaker, I wish to state that my ministry undertook a verification visit to farm number 946 subdivision A. From our facts-finding mission, it was revealed that there was need to undertake a social survey in order for government to establish the exact number of people who are currently occupying subdivision A of farm number 946. Madam Speaker, the fact-finding mission further revealed that there are indeed several government properties on the said farm, namely 1 secondary school, 4 primary schools, 6 community schools, 2 government clinics, 5 health centers, 1 police post, 4 storage sheds. In addition, there are also the following facilities, namely wildlife offices, Zambia Railway's train station, and the railway line. There's also a heritage site and a community dam. In addition, there is 105 housing units for former workers of the sawmill company, although at the moment the housing units are accommodating the government officers working in the ministries of health, education, and local government, including the police. Other structures which were found include water tanks, markets, churches, and playgrounds. It was also observed that there is a subdivision 1 of subdivision A of farm number 946, which was surveyed in 1982, representing 263.8 hectares, where the above listed infrastructures are mostly concentrated. However, no title was issued to subdivide to the subdivision 1 up to date. Madam Speaker, in addition to the fact-finding mission which was undertaken by officers under my ministry, my senior staff and I had a meeting with the new investor, including the receiver of the Zambezi Sawmill Company, at my office. From the discussions we had, it was established that the new investor was willing to hive off part of the land on which all government properties were sitting within the subdivision A of farm number 946 and to surrender them to the relevant ministries of government. The new investor further informed us that he had no intentions whatsoever to evict any person from subdivision A of farm 946. In any case, the new investor was also ready to hive out the area which was occupied by the people and give to them without asking for any compensation, and just to remain with the part of the land he wants to concentrate on for his business. Madam Speaker, the new investor is the sole employer of some of the people residing in subdivision A of farm number 946, which are being purported to be evicted from the same area. Madam Speaker, the government's primary objective is to ensure that any resolution is fair, transparent, and mutually beneficial. We are committed to protecting the rights of local communities who are often the custodians of our natural resources, while also fostering an environment conducive to responsible investment that contributes to national development. In this regard, we wish to urge all parties to exercise patience and restraint as the government diligently works towards a lasting solution. We are confident, Madam Speaker, that through continued dialogue and adherence to due process, we will make sure that an amicable solution is reached, which will be favorable to all parties concerned. I thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I leave it?
Thank you. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that comprehensive statement you have given to the House and finally to the nation. My question, however, is following my remark that land is life. Honorable Madam Speaker, land was there at the creation of life. Life does not exist without land. And getting those dates, 1931, those are our grandparents. Honorable Minister, there has been those understandings between those three parties. Has there been any change of the title to the current holder, the investor? The first transaction or the first agreement, which was a lease, from lease to a title, which was 20 somewhere, just recent. Has there ever been another change of that title to another holder? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable, for your follow-up question. To the best of my knowledge, what I know is that the title that was issued in 1999 to Zambezi Sawmills has not been changed to any other name. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kafulafuta.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I wish to thank the Minister of Lands for that comprehensive statement. However, I wish to find out whether other legal procedures were followed. I know that she said there was a title deed involved, but legally speaking, when somebody occupies a place for more than 5 years in Zambia, or in some places it's 10 or 12 years, that place becomes theirs, which means that whatever happens affecting that area, the person occupying that place must be compensated. I'm wondering if the minister followed through to find out whether there was a resettlement action plan conducted, and the public disclosure meeting, because an investor will not occupy a place without the consent of the people who are staying there, whether they have title or not. The fact that they've stayed in that particular place for so long, the law actually entitles them to be compensated. I wonder if the minister has those details so that we can have our minds cleared. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Not to the best of my knowledge, I do not think that that is what could have happened. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kabwata.
I am grateful, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the issue of people acquiring fraudulent titles is actually on the increase. We've seen a number of people that have acquired fraudulent titles. The case of Mulobezi, Zambezi Sauce Mill, and the area right in Mulobezi is one of those that we have seen a case of getting titles fraudulently. Now, I want to find out from you, the time that the lease was given, because the government property is there was a lease. Now, I want to find out at what point did the title come out? Was there any consent from the Litunga? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
1931, 1932, we find on the register, the list of register, on the land register that there was an agreement to do things, some certain things. I think that's all that we found. And at some point, we see that this land is being leased with the agreement of the Litunga and His Majesty the King then, and this company, Zambezi Sawmills. Fast forward from 1931 to 1999, we see a title has been issued. The question that we are not clear on is whether the initial lease agreement with the Litunga could be the basis on which a title was issued. We are not sure. Or whether indeed there was need for a consent from the Litunga at that time is another question that needs to be answered. Those are details that may come out if we found the application form for change of lease from a leasehold to a title. Now, remember that a leasehold is just a leasehold. It means at some point, the investor can leave and the land reverts back to whoever is leasing it. But when you give title, it means you have sold that piece of land and you no longer have any rights. The good point, or the good part of this deal, as we have learnt from the receiver, including the buyer, I think at the point when the buyer was buying this property, he was fully aware of those encumbrances, meaning the government structures, the communities, the houses and the people. He was fully aware, and we learnt from the receiver who told us that he told him, when he made the sale, he told him that the bank were only interested in clearing these dates on their books, and they didn't want to get involved with other things. And so the buyer knew that he was not just buying the land and his properties, but also that he was buying the people that were on site. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Let me start by acknowledging and commending the Minister for deferring the bill he has brought to this August House pertaining to land titling. Because clearly you can see that the Honorable Minister has got a lot of work to do as far as cleaning up the Ministry of Lands is concerned. Listening to this transaction, Madam Speaker, leaves many of us here very worried and concerned. Because if you look at the genesis the Minister has given us from 1931 up to the time the title was issued in 1999, and then the bank came in, and now we are hearing about this new investor who the Minister is saying could have bought the piece of land, that subdivision A, with the existing interests, because she's saying even the people that were there were bought. Madam Speaker, I would like to know what kind of transaction this could have been, where the land, the parcel of land was being sold with existing interests before the officers from the Ministry of Lands could go on the ground and do the survey to understand the parameters of the free land and the land that had existing interests. We would like to know, Madam Speaker, from the Honorable Minister, how this transaction was facilitated between the receiver and the so-called new investor without taking into account the existing interests that were on that portion of land. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Firstly, let me just make one point clear, and that is to state that Zambezi Sawmills was the legitimate owner. And I want to believe that looking at what is listed on the register, it shows that the three parties, which included the King, the Litunga, and Zambezi Sawmill, had some agreement. They had a lease that went on for many years. So one would assume that at that stage, that land was Crown land. But not fully, because even if it was Crown land, they were getting into a lease agreement with the Litunga, meaning they also appreciated the rights of the Litunga. But at the point of change from a lease to 1999, we want to believe that that change may have been okay, because the Zambezi Sawmill, if you recall, it was a government. But of course, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Shwangandu may be right when he's asking the question, how then did it change? Where is the information? Now, the good part is that that title of 1999 is still the same title up to date. It has not changed. And we all know Zambezi Sawmills. It used to be a government parastatal. I think the problem can only be at the point of sale, the recent sale last year in 2024, because the sale was done last year. Okay, so I think it is at that stage where we should have done due diligence. But again, these are complicated matters because they don't belong to government per se. There is a buyer who has bought a property through the banks. There's the community, there's the traditional authority, there's also a political leader, namely MP, who, as we heard, he was approached and told. Because even if I was told, I would have paid the 2 million myself. I mean, schools and all those property for 2 million. So, the facts still remain that the buyer, he bought. That maybe the people who were on the ground, we don't know whether they were not aware, but the liquidator showed us an advert which ran. There was an advert which was put in our national papers showing that the bank were selling that particular piece of land under Zambezi Sawmills. So maybe again the people may have slept on their rights, they didn't see it. As you know, those are rural areas and people may not see the newspaper. Maybe members of Parliament saw the newspaper. Personally, I saw it, but I didn't pay attention. But the advert was there. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mulobezi. In fact, you were supposed to be the next member to ask the question. This is your matter. Can you ask your question?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm very disappointed with the way the whole thing has taken place. Because the minister has been very economical in giving out the truth of the title, how the title was obtained. Because the title was fraudulently obtained without the knowledge of the PRA. Now, that's why I'm very disappointed that this information hasn't come out. There was a letter written by the chief, which I gave it to her here in Parliament on the floor of the House, from the senior chief of Monday, saying that the title was fraudulently obtained because the one who signed the papers is from Southern Province. Now, the land is in Western Province. How can that be? So that's why we're saying I'm very disappointed because the truth is not coming out. there must be a scam in this particular land. Because also the Minister of Land, that's when they had the meeting, they should have a courtesy of calling me or calling the DRE to be in that particular meeting.
Mulobezi, you are not supposed to debate. You are not debating the question. You are simply asking questions on points of clarification. Can you ask a question maybe where you don't agree or where you feel something hadn't been stated well? Put it in the form of a question. Yes, you can go ahead.
Can I continue? Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, my question to the Honorable Minister, since even the meeting they had last week, I was never invited myself, or BRE was not invited. So how do you have a meeting without a stakeholder being there? Now, my question is, did you bother to check out how that title deed was given? Because there's a letter from the senior chief himself who says that title deed was given fraudulently. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Honorable, for your follow-up question and the sentiments that you have expressed. I must admit, Madam Speaker, that we did not have the opportunity to speak to the royal establishment. I must also mention here that it is true to say that there was a letter that was written to myself from the Member of Parliament, which was stating that as far as the traditional authority were concerned, the title was fraudulently issued. That is a fact, what he has said. But I want the Honourable Member of Parliament to understand that when the Minister brings a statement here, it is not a statement of an individual. We sit as a team. We look at the digital system that we have. And what we bring here is only that which is in the files. I think I did mention that we were not able to come across the application. And so I cannot come here and give information that I myself am not sure about. The information I'm giving is only that which I've found. And if you've noted, Madam Speaker, I've tried to remain on the middle. I've tried to remain on the middle without necessarily supporting either side, but looking at facts as they've been presented to me. The question the Member of Parliament is asking is cardinal. It's cardinal as to how it moved from a leasehold to a title. But like I say, from 1931 up to 1999, there was a lease. And then the title came on in January of 1999. And also, although there's a buyer who has paid to the bank, there is no change of title from Zambezi Sawmills to this new buyer. All we know is that there was a transaction. And by the way, we also learned that this investor has been in that community for quite some time. He's been one of the community members, just like any other person, doing some other business on the same farmland. What is also good, Madam Speaker, from our interaction with the liquidator and the alleged new owner, there was appreciation that the people he found there, he agrees that he found people there. And he agrees that he was told from by the receiver that even as we are selling you this piece of property, take note that there are people already here that we found, and these are the encumbrances. But that is how he has come to say, I'm prepared to dialogue with everybody concerned, and I'm not evicting anyone. And all I've brought here is exactly what we gathered. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Mulobezi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm still very disappointed because the Ministry of Lands were given enough time. This is the third time this issue is coming on the floor of this House. They didn't bother to investigate the truth.
Order, honorable members.
Now, what we are getting on the floor of the House is half-baked information, which we cannot use anywhere, because they never investigated this matter in details. The BRE were never involved. No one was involved. Now, they sit on themselves and make a judgment. Now, my question to you, Honorable Minister, under the Land Act, do you have powers to cancel a title, a fraudulently obtained title deed or not? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
I love that question, Madam Speaker. It was only this week that this government is trying to bring back the powers of the registrar, which powers the registrar had from the time this act in 1914, when it was enacted, until 2014, when the courts of law interpreted the act and told Minister of Lands and told the registrar, you have no powers to cancel, send everybody to court. And mind you, from 2014 up to, from 1914 up to 2014, that's 100 years, that same registrar was the one who was cancelling titles when there was a problem, when she felt that, or he felt that there was a title that was erroneously or fraudulently issued. Now, in 2014, when a title got cancelled, a particular individual went to court to complain. And it was during that case that the courts ruled and said, Minister of Lands, you've been exercising power since 1914 wrongly. You have no power. So when we saw that we have a problem, because from 2014, we have a lot of these Mulobezi problems all over the country. And the truth of the matter, Madam Speaker, Zambians are being displaced. And all we tell them is go to court. And maybe this afternoon, I want to appeal maybe to the Honourable Member of Parliament to say this matter maybe go to court. Because there's nothing else we can do at this point in time other than negotiating and dialoguing and hoping that we can find an amicable solution for this problem. I appreciate this concern. I feel for the people. And I agree with him in some instances. But our hands are tied. Our hands are tied. We can only talk about these issues. So the issue of how, what, and the other, he may be right. But that's what it is. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Pemba.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, from where I am here and listening to what the Honourable Minister is saying, it is very clear that the title was fraudulently acquired. Now, should we go into negotiations, Honourable Minister, before any investigation is done, so that if the buyer and the seller are found wanting, they are prosecuted? Would you consider going that route of doing some investigation through the investigative wing before any negotiations, Honourable Minister? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is only one issue that is remaining, and that is the issue of the issuance of that title in 1999. Like I said, we have started these discussions. We are still going to go further in these discussions. The Member of Parliament is saying we've been given enough time. I think it's a very unfair statement, Madam Speaker. This matter is from 1999, 1931. I've been in the ministry now for 1 year. This matter came. We've done what we've done. And we've spoken to the investor not to move the people, which is agreeable to, because we have said we still need to get the chief, we still need to get the Litunga or the royal establishment, the Barroso royal establishment in Western Province to understand their side of the story. I'm aware that the Barroso royal establishment were in the office last week. They didn't meet with me. They met with the Commission of Lands, and I'm sure that we shall be meeting them soon, and this matter will also be tabled. So like I've said, in my concluding remarks, I did say that there has to be patience. All parties to exercise patience and restraint as the government diligently works towards a lasting solution. And we are confident that we will find a lasting solution. But you see, to try and, want this issue to be concluded through this ministerial statement, I think would be unfair to both parties. I think we've got to be fair to both parties. And remember, it's a bank that sold. It's not government. It's the bank that sold. Whether the price was low, it's still the bank. And this is why I said, we run a government of laws, and we have to respect the laws of Zambia. Correct. Whether they're bad or good, but the law is law. And that's why when we who have been elected are put in the office, when we begin to see how the Zambian people are suffering and being displaced, that's why we come here to make the laws. We make the laws because we want to use those laws for the good of the Zambians. But when we come here, some people don't see beyond an individual's face. They see myself. They don't see the Zambia, that I'm just a representative of the Zambian people. And when I bring a piece of legislation here, I'm not just thinking, as a one minister. No, there's a team of experts, educated men and women who have been employed by the Zambian people under the Ministry of Lands. They write. Of course, doesn't mean that I'm a robot, I don't think. I think. And we agree that, okay, let's go back so that we go back where we were. And if you recall, from 1914 to 2014, we didn't have any problems. It's after 2014 and worse, when we went with the PF, things got even worse. And today, we have problems. We have problems in this country. There are double titles and you can't like it. I'm not surprised that people have been fighting even the bill because maybe they are culprits. Yes, I was Minister of Law Government.
Order. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on a point of order pursuant to Standing Order 71. Madam Speaker, first of all, the issue of land titling is a process, Madam Speaker. And this process is what should be watertight, such that when the Minister of Lands is issuing a title deed, they would have done their due diligence. And I'm happy that the Honorable has acknowledged that she was Minister of Local Government under PF government and dealt with issues of land. So let's not use the issues of political parties here. Let's deal with the processes. Madam Speaker, the aspect of cancelling title deeds is not a solution. What seems to be coming out, Madam Speaker, is that the system has collapsed. Because from local government into Ministry of Lands, there are processes that should be watertight, how verifications should be done, and how people should go on the ground and do diligence. When the Honorable Minister, Honorable Member for Mulobezi was asking, he was asking on the process which took place before the title was due diligence was done. Surveying is the Honorable Minister responsible for Ministry of Lands, and now people are scared. In order to acknowledge here that it's good to have corruption at the ministry and issuance of title deeds should be piling up without a system, and only that problem cannot be sorted out by cancelling the title by the Registrar of Lands. Madam Speaker, is she in order? The response to the Honorable Minister MP from Lobezi has not been thorough because it clearly shows that there must have been corruption in the process of the way the title was issued without involving the traditional leaders who were involved, who were part of this land from 1931. So is the Honorable Minister, in order to start passing the buck, PF never came here to try and change the cancellation of titles, which is properly done by the courts. Madam Speaker, we need this matter settled in the best interest of the people of Mulobezi and the Honorable Member of Parliament who has been complaining about this issue. The Honorable Minister, Madam Speaker, must be ordered to do the right thing. Yes, the issuing of this Ministerial statement is to clear the air so that the Honorable Member of Parliament from Mulobezi can go back to his traditional leaders and the people concerned and explain to them. Is she in order, Madam Speaker, to abdicate her duty to respond to the issues raised by the Honorable Member from Mulobezi and start passing the buck and using lame excuses? I seek your serious ruling.
The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, you have taken actually more than 2 minutes. You debated your point of order adequately. Because of that, your point of order is not admissible. We are not supposed to debate our points of order. The Honorable Member for Magoye.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to find out from the Honorable Minister of Lands, how possible is it that a large piece of land which was government property could be sold just for 2 million kwacha? Can you provide clarity on the valuation process and confirm if the price of 2 million kwacha was to the market value? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to believe that in the statement, I think that the bank was owed 14 million kwacha. And that 40 million kwacha was not, in my understanding, the actual valuation, but that's the amount of money which the bank was looking for. But after failing to get that money, the bank, through the receiver, decided to say 2 million is okay. And I think it was at that point that the receiver, after he had advertised it for some time, on 2 occasions, according to what he said, he approached the Member of Parliament to see whether it was possible for him to come in as government, maybe at that point. But of course, it didn't materialize. Then one of the members of the community who is an investor in the area obviously jumped on that deal and paid the 2 million and became the owner. So I wouldn't say that that could be the value of first of all, the land itself, even without the properties. But when you look at the number of properties that are there, the schools, and of course, the value must be much more than that. But that was the price he was given. And it was a straightforward deal. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chieng.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker,
Do you have a question, Honorable Member?
yes, Madam Speaker, because I didn't expect. Madam Speaker, to own a land is the right of every Zambian. And I heard in the statement of the Minister that this land is the land which an investor intends to gate and evict the indigenous. Madam Speaker, my only question to the Minister is that who is more important, this so-called investor or the indigenous people who are the right owners of the land and who are also voters? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Firstly, Madam Speaker, in any country, the nationals are very important. but investors within that definition also have their space. Thank you.
Motions, the Honorable Member for Kalomo Central.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the ratification of the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025, for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly.
Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Milanzi. Order. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the ratification of the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Kalomo Central.
Madam Speaker, the committee, in accordance with its terms of reference as set out in the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, considered the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education. Madam Speaker, the overall objective of the Convention is to facilitate academic and professional mobility, enhance international cooperation, and promote access to quality higher education across borders. I wish to state from the onset that the committee is in support of the proposal to rectify the Convention. Madam Speaker, rectifying of the Convention provides an opportunity to promote global recognition of qualifications from Zambian universities and colleges. As a party to the Convention, other member states will be obliged to recognize Zambian qualifications as long as they are not substantially different from those of the receiving countries. This will consequently cure the problem of Zambian degree qualification that have been downgraded in some jurisdictions. Ratifying the Convention is also intended to foster global mobility of labor and students. In this vein, it will open up opportunities for Zambian students to study abroad without being subjected to bridging courses or repetition of academic programs on the basis of non-recognition. It will also enhance opportunities for graduates of Zambian universities and colleges to seek employment in international organizations and other member states, as their qualifications will be comparable to qualifications at the same level in those countries. Madam Speaker, the committee is, however, cognizant of the fact that in order to realize the objectives of the Convention, various measures have to be taken by the executive. The committee has therefore made recommendations contained in the report, and I would like to believe that the honorable members have had an opportunity to read the report. In this regard, let me highlight a few salient issues contained in the report. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that the approval of the 2023 Zambian Education Curriculum Framework by Cabinet as a demonstration that Zambia is on its way to aligning with the global standards on education. However, the committee urges the executive to review the existing laws, such as the Higher Education Act, number 4 of 2013, the Zambia Qualifications Act, number 8 of 2024, and the Zambia Qualifications Framework, with a view to establish transparent, fair, non-discriminatory mechanisms for the recognition of qualifications. The committee is also of the strong view that the review process should be extended to programs, descriptors, and the duration of training required for each qualification to align them with the global standards and the Convention's principles. The committee also observes that in order to meet the requirements of the Convention, there is need to upgrade
both physical and information communication technology infrastructure for higher education, ensuring that institutions have capacity to deliver the quality education that aligns with global standards. Additionally, higher education institutions must implement targeted capacity building initiatives to equip their personnel to all levels with essential competencies, skills, and knowledge. The committee therefore urges the executive to mobilize requisite funding to develop ICT infrastructure and conduct targeted capacity enhancement activities without delay. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wish to pay tribute to the stakeholders who interacted with the committee for the valuable insights they provided. Gratitude also goes to you, Madam Speaker, and the Office of the Clerk of National Assembly for the guidance and support rendered to the committee throughout its deliberation. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Milanzi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to second the motion that has been ably moved by Kalomo Central Member of Parliament, Harry Kambon. In seconding the motion, allow me to comment on a few observations and recommendations that were made by your committee. Madam Speaker, the committee observes with concern the overlapping mandate of the Zambia Qualifications Authority with those of other authorities such as the Higher Education Authority, the Technical Education, Vocational and Entrepreneurship Training Authority, and the Examinations Council of Zambia. The committee is of the view that overlapping responsibilities and fragmented systems can lead to laborious procedures for qualification, accreditation, evaluation, and recognition, causing delays and confusion for higher education institutions, students, graduates, and employers. Madam Speaker, in this regard, the committee urges the executive to review the mandates of the regulatory institutions in the education sector and institute the alignment process, as this will create a more efficient, transparent, and user-friendly system that support the goals of the Global Convention. The harmonization of mandates is expected to foster greater trust in the education system, improve coordination among agencies, and enhance the country's ability to implement international standards effectively. Madam Speaker, with regard to access of higher education by refugees, the committee observes that the Convention underscores the need for member states to put in place reasonable procedures for assessing fairly and efficiently whether refugees and displaced persons fulfill the relevant requirements for access to higher education and employment opportunities. In this regard, the committee recommends that the executive puts in place corresponding legal and policy framework for recognition of prior learning for refugees and displaced persons in conformity with the provisions of the Convention. Madam Speaker, with these few remarks, I beg to second and thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Chirubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chirubi the voice to debate on this particular issue. Madam Speaker, when we are talking about this convention, it looks simple, but we are addressing matters of bread and butter. We are addressing matters of bread and butter because Zambians are supposed to be global citizens. And they are supposed to be global citizens. Currently, Zambians, when it comes to qualifications globally, we are considered as underdogs. And when we look at the rating of our universities globally, you find that Zambia, when it was at some point matching with Makerere University and other universities in the region, this time around is so low in terms of classification. Madam Speaker, that is a source of worry, and it's a source of worry because Zambians cannot only be confined to
having job opportunities within Zambia itself. Just like other citizens of the world are coming into Zambia to be consultants and also to get the other jobs. Madam Speaker, we know that few months ago, it is in this house that we are talking about the audit when it was addressing the issue of higher education, and the Higher Education Act number 4 of 2013 was in firing range, that it has not been taken seriously by our own local environment. This means, Madam Speaker, that of course we saw how we have 300 plus institutions, and out of that only 80 are affiliated, and so many are registered with the PACRA. Before we even think global, Madam Speaker, I think the major problem is our local environment, meaning that even if we are to attend to the Higher Education Act of number 4 of 2013, we have not even applied what is in there now. Even when we do amendments to dance to the tune of the global, we are not assured of desired results. Madam Speaker, this involves synergizing different curricula, that of the international and many other. For instance, Madam Speaker, when we train a nurse in Zambia, for that nurse to go and work in Canada, for instance, they have to start the course all over again. And that is not good. We have people that have got relatives to go and join in that particular country. Some of them are getting married, and by nature of the matrimony, they have to go and join husbands and wives and start working like that. But if they are prohibited by nature of what they don't qualify and what they qualify, it is a different scenario, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I already emphasized, at some point Zambia was comfortable with a colonial hangover kind of education. I know that at the time before we changed from grade 12, from 5 to grade 12, we used to write Cambridge exams. And those Cambridge exams were just a carryover. And in this case, Britain. But when we look at what followed thereafter, we will duplicate everything with the hope that we are going to factor in the global citizen. And we are going to produce a global citizen who is going to fit in 2 different fields. But alas, Madam Speaker, that was not achieved. Madam Speaker, we also need to pay attention to Article 4 of the Convention. Article 4 of the Convention is talking about recognition and many other factors that go into how we need to appreciate. As Zambia, there is need that we prepare ourselves. And as I've talked about, currently, Madam Speaker, we have this, you forgive me the term that I'm going to use, mushrooming, colleges and universities in the tertiary education, which is education. But we have seen from the audit that we had in here that these are not properly monitored in terms of standards and many other factors. All we follow, if this higher education institution has buildings and an office to operate from, then we accommodate, because we are in a hurry, to accommodate as many as possible under the Higher Education Authority, so that we register numbers, not register in quality. Madam Speaker, this particular report is addressing quality and reliability of the qualifications. And the quality and reliability of the qualifications brings in another article, Madam Speaker, which is article, I've forgotten my Roman numeral, but in Roman numeral, I think this is supposed to be article 18, which is talking about entry into force. And when we look at entry into force, Madam Speaker, there is need that as far as we want to be part of this convention, and as far as we want to engage in this convention, there is need that we prepare a landing ground. And in preparing a landing ground, we need to clean our own house. And our own house is Zambia. We cannot venture into participating at international level when the audit report said that we have a lot of problems with higher education. And if we have a lot of problems with higher education, we cannot even participate in the entry. When this article is talking about when the force comes in, you to mean that Zambia will still remain behind in terms of appreciating the value that this convention may bring. But As things stand, Madam Speaker, we are at a weakest point. We are the underdog in terms of participating in the convention. And I think it is good that the reporters talked about certain issues. But what I'm trying to call for is that let us reflect in venturing to create global citizens who can participate. We always say education is an equalizer, Madam Speaker. If education is an equalizer, we get education to have access to good jobs and quality of life. And if we get education to have access to good jobs and quality of life, some of them will be consultants, some of them will be on subcontracts, and some of them will have permanent jobs. That is education. And that's when we allow attestation when education becomes an equalizer. And if education is an equalizer, I am appealing to the good Minister of Education that let us first attend to implementing what is currently in the Higher Education Act number 4 of 2013 before we even think of amending. Because the audit report exposed weaknesses of implementation. The audit report exposed weaknesses of infrastructure. The audit report exposed weaknesses of personnel. So this is interlinked to the implementation of the Higher Education Act. And then thereby, we need to position ourselves in a manner that we participate. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, we will be participating in this convention for academic purposes. If we have 300 registered institutions, and out of those, only 80 are affiliated to the Higher Education Authority, and even those that are affiliated are not meeting the quality and the reliability in terms of qualification. Madam Speaker, with those few words, the people of Churu would like to rest the case as they support the report.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chiengi.
Thank you so much. Madam Speaker, this is a very important report, and I must say that I did put in a question to the Ministry of Education regarding the qualifications in order for our people to become international or global professionals or global academicians. Madam Speaker, we have a challenge in Zambia. If you go to ZAQA, Zambia Qualifications Authority, you find that on their system, they have certain courses or disciplines which do not marry with what is offered in the universities. So most of Zambians who are outside the country, Madam Speaker, they are having this challenge. They produce a certain course or certificate. They are looking for a job outside the country. And when they want to, they send those documents back to ZAQA, you find that UNZA has a certain course which is not on ZAQA. And that renders that document irrelevant. So first thing first, we need to put our house in order. The Higher Education Authority and also the ZAQA should sit down and to make sure that every course that is approved by Higher Education Authority is also on ZAQA. This will enable Zambians to be global professionals or global academicians. This has been a huge challenge, Madam Speaker, and I've been waiting to see the response from the ministries ever since I put in this question. It was in the last sitting, and this question has not come. I thought if it were, taken to the ministry, they'll help many of the Zambians who are in the diaspora. So this convention, Madam Speaker, is working out for countries where they're serious about their people, where they've made sure that even if you go to, for example, in South Africa, it's called SAQA, you'll find those courses which are being offered by colleges, universities, and other schools. They are also at SAQA's system. But in Zambia, it's a different story, Madam Speaker. So how do we even participate in this convention, the global convention, where we want Zambians to be considered to be professionals global professionals done our homework. My earnest appeal to the Minister of Education, it's a high time that Higher Education Authority, together with ZACWA, they married all the courses that are being offered by every college or university. After all, it's Higher Education Authority which authorizes these courses. So, Madam Speaker, not to take much time of the House, I just want to say this in Zambia cannot work, and our people will still be considered not to be educated. There's a time the British government considered University of Zambia qualifications to be like diplomas, because of the quality of education that now Zambia is giving. If you look at the years like when we were young in the 80s and 70s, University of Zambia used to have international students. But today, Madam Speaker, we do not even have international students because the standards have dropped. We need first to improve the quality of education, which USA, CBU, Mulungushi University, and other private universities are giving. It's a reason we cannot even be...
Order. There's an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And it wasn't my intention, however, Madam Speaker. I'm rising on this point of order, not to the desire of my heart. I was listening to the debater. I caught these words that there used to be students from the international world, but of late, according to her, there are no more students from the international world at the University of Zambia. Article 71, Madam Speaker, states that when you mention or state, has she got that fact? Surely, that there are no students outside Zambia at the University of Zambia. Has she got that evidence? If she has, Madam Speaker, can she lay that evidence on the table? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Did you cite the standing order? Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chiengi, do you have evidence that there are no international students at our University of Zambia?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. In the first place, Madam Speaker, I'm disappointed with that point of order, because the quality that UNZA education is giving to the Zambians is low there. It's the reason Britain considered the degrees from there as diplomas.
The Honorable Member for Chiengi, I simply asked a simple question, then I was supposed to continue with my ruling. But you've continued to debate. I was asking for evidence. Do we have it that there are no international students at our University of
Madam Speaker, it's on record. I cannot provide the evidence now, but if the Honorable Member from Kalabo doesn't mind, Madam Speaker, with the indulgence, we can go and get the details from you, and then we come and lay it on the table. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Chiengi, if we do not have evidence, it's better we don't mention the issue, or simply we just withdraw and make progress. Because we are not in the House, and the people who are listening, they need evidence to truly say we don't have international students. Just that. If you have no evidence, just withdraw, proceed with your debate.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. It's very sad, actually, Madam Speaker. And Guys, let's be serious. We are not giving proper
The
qualifications
honorable member
to our
for
children.
Chiengi.
It's below bar. That's why they go to Apex and
The
Unilas.
honorable member for Chiengi.
Madam Speaker, they are disturbing
debating
me.
and addressing me, not addressing the other honorable members. And moreover, you are all honorable members, not guys. There are no guys in the house. They are only honorable members of parliament. So please, just focus on my guide so that we make progress.
Don't start with me. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the
The honorable member from Babala.
You never tell me that.
Order, honorable member. Order. Order. The honorable member for Kankoyo. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. The honorable member for Kankoyo. Can we have order in the house? We are all honorable members in this house. There is no honorable member who is more senior except for the ministers. The backbenchers are almost, they are the same. Let's observe the rules of the house. Let us respect one another. Imagine if that behavior, I hope people outside there didn't see what transpired. Can we respect one another? Can we have decorum in the house? This is not another place where you can just stand and start shouting. Please, let us observe decorum of the house. We are honorable members of parliament. Honorable members of parliament. Let's behave in that manner so that the people out there are going to respect us. We deserve to be respected. I had called upon the honorable member from Babala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Mbabara an opportunity to support
Order, honorable member. Order. There are rules that you are supposed to follow. The honorable member for Nakonde, just follow the rules. Don't even complain where you are seated. Just stand up and raise on, indicate that you have a point of order.
He has not even logged in, Madam Speaker, so just send him out.
Order. Order. Order, honorable member.
He has not logged in, Madam Speaker, so.
Order. The honorable member from Babala. I think you are not the presiding officer to instruct other members. Your role is just to stand up and debate the motion before us.
I proceed.
The honorable member for Karurushi, what is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, I stand a very disappointed and disgraced woman in this chamber, especially that the presiding officer is a woman. The honorable member of Kankoyo just called the honorable member of Chiengi Chipuba Iwe. I think even though we are all equal, I think respect should be the utmost. Our members in this house, Madam Speaker, are chased for debating while seated. But a male insulting and degrading a woman, and he walks scot-free. Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling.
Can you cite the standing order, honorable member for Karulushi?
Precedence has been set in this chamber, Madam Speaker. It's 204. You don't know? Go and read the... It's 204.
Order, honorable member for Chiengi. That is also disorderly conduct. 204, honorable member, talks about functions of general purposes committee. The problem, honorable member of parliament, order, order. Order, Honorable Member for Kalulushi. From where I'm seated, sometimes it's very difficult to get the exact words that are being mentioned, especially from the far end. It's very difficult. But I saw the behavior, which I truly, in my mind and in my heart, I had guided. I didn't like the behavior that occurred there. That's why I had to stop and guided the House. I've already guided the House. We know the behavior that we want. If there is a complaint somewhere, Honorable Member for Kalulushi, please just bring that complaint. We'll go back and listen to the recordings. Just bring your complaint. It's never too late. The Honorable Member for Mbabala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Mbabala an opportunity to support the motion from the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications for higher education. Madam Speaker, this topic appeals to the people of Mbabala a lot because of the serious implications which it brings to the people of Zambia as we support this convention, Zambia joining this convention, because, Madam Speaker, it is speaking about access to access to higher education. Higher education, Madam Speaker, is only a preserve of a few in our country because of our pyramidal nature of our education system, where we've got many people enrolling at primary level, and then as we go up into secondary and university, the numbers keep dropping out, Madam Speaker. Therefore, for us to equalize the situation, the fact that education is an equalizer for all, we will need, Madam Speaker, to join such a global framework that allows our qualifications to be recognized everywhere. I'm speaking as a beneficiary of various international scholarships, Madam Speaker. For example, the Cambridge Commonwealth Scholarship, as well as the Royal British Scholarship, which took me to Cambridge University on an equivalent level to the people who had schooled in Britain. If, Madam Speaker, we join this global convention or global framework, it allows us, our grades here, to be recognized at the same level and join those universities. Once we are in that kind of atmosphere, Madam Speaker, it allows many of our people to get scholarships to international universities such as Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, and many others out there, where these skills are very important. What they get there in terms of both academic qualification as well as skills, experience, knowledge is very important to human service delivery in our countries here, like we are serving today. Those of us who have benefited from these scholarships and have come to serve our mother country. And it also opens up a lot of jobs for our people at an international level. When we go to these international agencies, we are few as Zambians. We find more of other countries, for example, Nigerians and some Kenyans here and there, but Zambians, we are very few in these international agencies. And one of the drawbacks is because of the qualifications which we need to be universally acceptable. So if our qualifications are acceptable everywhere around the world, they carry a lot of weight. It becomes much easier for a lot of our people to join these global international organizations, and from there we can create jobs for our people. So we have a challenge right now. We've got so much human resource in the country. Nearly each one of us as members of parliament are carrying huge files of CVs for people who are looking for jobs. And the only way we can get more and more jobs is to have many of our people even go outside, get international corporations for our people to go and become, teachers, become nurses and all that in various other countries because of the qualification which is strong and recognized globally. So I would want to add a few other things, Madam Speaker, which are to do with some of the things we have to attend to locally here in terms of our lecturer capacity, in terms of quality lecturers, people who are qualified with the standard qualifications and experience from other universities to become lecturers here so that we are producing quality education. We're talking about infrastructure, that most of our institutions need to have the quality infrastructure for them to deliver quality products. And one of the challenging areas which I have observed of late is the field work for most of our university students. During our time, we spent proper field work, in the rural areas. You are there for 3 months, and you come and do your report, and you do urban field work, and you do your report. But nowadays, Madam Speaker, I'm observing a trend where these students have nowhere to go because of the numbers, of course, that have become so many. They have nowhere to go, so they are coming out not even having done their field work properly. And some of these universities, they are just lumping them. There are so many of these universities nowadays. The supervision of these universities by the higher education authority needs to be strengthened because they are not giving them the practical experience for them to come out fully baked. So we really have a job on our hand to improve our internal situation, our internal capacity, so that as we go out there, we can continue to produce the quality that we are known for. I have no doubt Honorable Shakarima is up to the job. He's doing an excellent job in education. And so we continue to push with him to ensure that we succeed on this, joining this global convention and being able to produce quality Zambians that will take up on the mantle of global leadership. We have a lot of foreign students right now who are in this country. I've seen Swanas, I've seen people from Namibia, I've seen people from Tanzania, I've seen people from Zimbabwe. They are all flooded in our universities. Why? It's because we are a flagship country that is producing, known for quality. And so our job is to simply maintain that quality and even go higher in our quality by looking at every aspect of quality education and indeed giving these scholarships to the best students, the way it used to be. I knew Dr. Siakarima as one of the best students when he just graduated at UNZA. He was my lecturer because of being that student retention program. And we need to continue on those programs where we retain the best so that they can become lecturers and we can then have a good education minister. He is a good education minister because of the experience he gained by being retained at UNZA, going out there to study in Europe and coming back and continuing. It's from there that we get this quality. And we must continue on that trajectory by looking at all areas of these institutions and with the recommendations which are in this very important report that I fully support on behalf of the people of Mbabara, because we know that our children there in Kabanze Mayobo, our children in Mutanga, our children in Mpinda will one day benefit from this, and they will be doctors and professors, and they will be in industry and many other areas of development. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We have to conclude this report before break. Under 3 minutes, the Honorable Member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, it's difficult to tender discourse under 3 minutes. But since that is what you have offered me, I would like to urge the Minister to read this report on page 6, where the government is being urged to align the laws and policy. Madam, this means that policies and laws are not aligned to support higher education qualifications. Now, I wanted to elaborate. I will not. I'll also advise the minister to read number 2 on the same page, which requires the harmonization of mandates for institutions in the education sector. Madam Speaker, having institutions with mandates that are not in harmony is a recipe for confusion, and when you confuse the institutions which are there to assist, then you have a situation where you have outcomes that lack credibility. This is why it is very important. Madam, on the same page at number 3, the committee recommends investment in capacity and infrastructure. Madam Speaker, to produce high-quality degrees, you require high-quality delivery of that educational system. And to do so, you need not only sufficient, but also appropriate infrastructure. And it should not end there. You need appropriate technology so that you are able to mix the ingredients of investment in your educational delivery system. Madam Speaker, in the absence of appropriate structure, appropriate technology, it is virtually impossible to deliver quality. Madam, what does it mean to strengthen these systems? It means you need to have a good legal framework. You need to have a good policy framework. From what the committee has written, this is lacking in our higher education. Now, once you get a policy and legal framework which is not only good but consistent, then you will need a good structure, appropriate structure. Then you need to resource that structure. This is why when we talk about budgeting, which is normally discussed in this House, the budget should be aligned to the difficulties of making adjustments to the entire governance system. It's unfortunate. This lack of consistency has even gone to higher education. Now, while I support the ratification of this, I urge the government to take note of what the report is saying. And as I said, Madam, 3 minutes is certainly not sufficient for me to deliver appropriately what I intended to deliver for the benefit of the UPND government. Madam Speaker, I support the ratification of this particular convention.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Ministry of Education, I rise to sincerely thank you for granting me this opportunity to deliver this statement following the successful debate on the motion to adopt the report of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the ratification of the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education. Allow me to express my deepest appreciation to the mover of the motion and the seconder for the manner in which they ably advanced the case for Zambia's ratification of this important international instrument. Madam Speaker, I wish to commend the chairperson and all distinguished members of the committee for the comprehensive and well-researched report that was laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025. The committee's diligent work, including consultations with stakeholders, demonstrates a commendable commitment to strengthening transparency, accountability, and evidence-based decision-making in our education sector. We are equally grateful for the honorable members of this August for the overwhelming support, constructive engagement, and shared commitment to advancing Zambia's higher education agenda within the global landscape. Your endorsement of this motion represents a major step towards promoting academic mobility, international recognition of Zambian qualifications, and enhanced opportunities for our students, graduates, and institutions. I wish to acknowledge and thank the various stakeholders who made invaluable submissions to the committee. In particular, we commend the Zambia Qualifications Authority, the Higher Education Authority, the Technical Education, Vocational and Entrepreneurship Training Authority, and our public and private higher education institutions for their continued efforts to uphold the quality and credibility of our national qualifications framework. Madam Speaker, the ratification of this convention presents an opportunity to align our higher education system with global standards, strengthen quality assurance, and enable Zambian qualifications to gain wider recognition internationally. This will not only facilitate cross-border academic and professional mobility, but also position Zambia as a competitive player in international research, innovation, and collaboration. Let me also acknowledge the dedication of officers in the Ministry of Education for their role in facilitating this process, as well as the technical and logistical support provided by the Clerk of the National Assembly and our staff throughout this inquiry. As government, we are committed to implementing the recommendations of the committee, including the domestication of the convention through relevant policies and legislative frameworks. We will continue investing in institutional capacity, regulatory coherence, and infrastructure development to ensure that Zambia fully benefits from this important milestone. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, we remain optimistic that this ratification will usher in a new era for Zambia's higher education system, one that is inclusive, internationally respected, and responsive to the aspirations of our people and the demands of a rapidly evolving global knowledge economy. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me just use a few minutes which are remaining for me just to answer a few queries or observations which our colleagues did put forward. Madam Speaker, I want to categorically say we have so many foreign students in our land. Yes, in between, I don't know when, they started slumping. But this time around, we have so many. In fact, we are even more competitive even without this, because there are so many things that we have actually done, and Zambia, I think it has done the refugee part of it, even without having to put a law inside it. The qualifications are being assessed for the refugees. Some of them, we have actually placed them in higher education institutions like universities and colleges. So it is not true to say that we don't have foreign students here. Yes, we acknowledge the slumping which took place, and now we're on a trajectory to be competitive in the 21st century. This is why you have seen so many investors coming here who are linking themselves to industry to universities. Like the one now that they plant for fertilizer. They'll be producing urea and they want 400 chemical engineers. So the University of Zambia, Copper Belt University, and Mkuba University will be linked to that industry. So they will be doing all those things, all these industries that are coming to Zambia, they will be directed to our universities. So it is already being done. There are so many who are coming. Just yesterday, I was receiving professors in medicine, and I linked them with Levi Mwanawasa Medical University. So why are they coming here? Because they know how intelligent Zambians are. You can see, Madam Speaker, from there up to there, that these are all university holders from the University of Zambia. Let me correct this impression, which was also said that when we go when we go to UK, our university, if it is a first degree, yes, they put you in a higher diploma. It is them who changed. Me, I went with my degree from the University of Zambia, and they accepted me there. But on the way, they changed. They started saying, here, because you don't have A levels. Yet here, what we have had was the first year we teach A levels. Then the subsequent years, that's when we start now counting. But them, they stopped counting the first year here. And this is why, if you check our curriculum the way it has been measured now, we will have, in the later years, they will not go to Form 5, and then from Form 5 they go to the university. They will go first to Form 6 to do A levels, and that's when they will go to the university, where they will complete, if it is a 4 years, in this case, this day, they will complete in 3 years. All right? So this is what the Great Britain actually did. They have these forms, Form 6. From Form 6, you go to the university. Those who don't qualify to go to universities, they go another path of education. This is what we have done, Madam Speaker, for this curriculum that where many of these were trying to argue. Today they will come to say something else, yet they will argue. The step to go to university starts at early childhood, and you go to grade 1. So you align that curriculum to the one that you want to go and see. The universities and colleges depend on what the primary and secondary schools are teaching in order for them to realign their own courses and degrees. So this government has put in place, we are looking forward. Huh? You are looking backwards. You. They are looking backwards. They were not future-oriented. This government has planned for education system in the next 20 years. That's what planning is. That is what looking forward, for you to want to be competitive in the 21st century, you must start now. Actually, Madam Speaker, if PF was still in government, the entire education system was going to completely collapse. Yes. It was going to completely collapse. Sit down and let me lecture to you. Okay? So this is not child display.
Honorable members.
This is not child display, Madam Speaker. I have seen things myself. And they are the same human beings that we are using. The ones you had. Okay? The ones you had. They are the ones that are now today here. The problem were yourselves and not the people. No.
Order, Honorable Member Pompika. Order.
Who told you to engage me?
That is the more reason why we are saying the people that are debating through the presiding officer. The Honorable Member, the Honorable Minister, you may continue. So
yes, I will look at you straight. But the fact remains the fact. The PF destroyed the education system. We are trying now to make sure, because first of all, I don't even know, they were behaving like refugees, hoping one day to be repatriated. Huh? They didn't think that they were permanent here in Zambia. The same schools which they take their nieces to, their children to, they were destroying. So you must thank us who are trying to correct the mistake that you made. That is the only way that you can have a development agenda. You cannot develop without the people. Every country, no more its sort, invests in their own people. The greatest asset of any country is its people. This is why we even introduced free education. And more than 2 million children are now in school. The ones they were looking in the street.
Your time is up, Honorable
Next time they should not be given chance to rule the country. Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
The Honorable Member for Kalomo Central, wind up debate in a few minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I take this opportunity to thank the MP for Chilubi, thank you very much. The MP for Chiangi, the MP for Mbabala, and the MP for Lunte. Madam Speaker, just in a short synopsis, there is nothing wrong with legal framework. Our curriculum changed now, and it must be backed by a legal framework. And that legal framework is in the process. And that's what a good government does. The duplication of mandates they are talking about happened in the PF, and now we are correcting all those duplications. So Parliament did a fantastic job by identifying them, and this government is going to correct them. Yeah. Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the ratification of the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Next order, the Honourable Member for Lukuru East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that this House now adopts the report of the Committee on Health, Community Development and Social Services on the follow-up performance audit report on the implementation of the Social Cash Transfer Program in Zambia for the period 2018 to 2023, which was laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025.
Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Madam Speaker, seconded by the people of Bahati.
Seconded by the Honourable Member for Bahati. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Health, Community Development and Social Services on the follow-up performance audit report on the implementation of the Social Cash Transfer Program in Zambia, 2018 to 2023, for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025. Any debate? The Honourable Member for Lukuru East.
So, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Basically, the committee was looking at a follow-up audit report from the Auditor General's office that was looking at the implementation of the Social Cash Transfer Program in Zambia from 2018 to 2023, having carried out an audit earlier, and the committee looked at how far the previous recommendations had been worked on. Madam Speaker, as you know, for over 20 decades, Zambia's protection system has served a critical policy tool in reducing extreme poverty and addressing inequality. Notably, Madam Speaker, the Social Cash Transfer Program has been the foundation or the flagship program of Zambia's social protection strategy, which is implemented through the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services and supported by the Zambia Integrated.
The Honourable Member for Mukushi South. Please, it's like you forget that you are in the House. Can you avoid debating while seated?
Yeah.
You may continue, Honourable.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I was just highlighting the importance of this program.
Order. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for health break.
20 minutes health break. We expect business to continue at 17 hours. So at the time Madam First Deputy Speaker was suspending business, the House was considering a motion that is being moved by Lukulu East Member of Parliament. And this is a motion to adopt the report of the Committee on Health, Community Development and Social Services. In moving this motion, he is urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on Health, Community Development and Social Services on the follow-up performance audit report on the implementation of the Social Cash Transfer Program in Zambia 2018 to 2023 for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025.
Yes, and other business that has been considered by the House were some announcements in which the Honourable Madam Speaker did recognize pupils and teachers from the following schools, and these were Al-Furqan Islamic School in Lusaka District, Mazabuka Girls Secondary School in Mazabuka District, and Kizito Community School in Lusaka District. And on behalf of the National Assembly, she welcomed the visitors to the institution.
After that, we did hear a motion that was moved by the acting leader of government business in the House, and this is basically a motion to suspend the standing orders, and this is suspension of standing order number 27-2, and it was moved by the acting leader of government business in the House, that's Honorable Ambrose Luigi Lufuma, that standing order 27-2 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit until business on the order paper is completed on Friday, 1st August 2025, and thereafter adjourn sine die.
And there was also a ministerial statement rendered by the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources on the matter of farm number 946 of subdivision A in Mulobezi Ward in Mulobezi constituency. And of course, we'll be giving you the details later. Just now we take a break.